morning. This is Mike Lodge. I am the business advisor. It is a Monday morning, and I'm in South Carolina. It's currently 59 degrees, and it's 8:16 in the morning, so it's going to be a cool day, which I like. I just got in, did all my gardening chores for the morning, updated all my emails, did everything that I needed to do. Now I'm inside the house, and I am cool. It's nice and cool in here. Listen, we have been bombarded by the White House and by the president just doing willy-nilly to spin the jobs numbers. And they said, we have created so many jobs. Well, that's a lie. Every time that you hear an economic number from the White House or from any politician out there, it's a spin. It's a spin on just a portion of what's going on. So the White House comes out and Biden comes out all weekend long spouting on Twitter that he's created so many jobs. He did not create those jobs. What happened is that people came back to their old jobs. They came back into the workforce. He didn't create them. Those jobs were already sitting there. So he's kind of giving you a bad info on what the job numbers are. If you look at the layoffs that are going on, layoffs are sweeping across America in our business in 2022. I mean, it's happening. It's going on. Walmart is laying off. The biggest employer, by the way, in the United States is laying off people. If you look at so many other companies, let's go. I'm going to have a list here at the moment. I want to go over them. Gap has just laid off about 500 people. Another company, Snap, 20% of its employees gone. If you look at Wayfair, which I buy a lot of stuff on Wayfair, I'm guilty of that, but they have laid off 870 employees. If you look at Robinhood, more than 1,000 people in 2022. If you look at let's see, what's another company? Peloton. Now, this is a big number. 4,150 people gone. Peloton. If you look at Shopify, 1,000 workers gone. Bye-bye. Hasta la vista. 7-Eleven, 880 jobs. Vimeo, 6% of its workforce. If you look at Tesla, 229 employees, and that number is growing. If you look at Rivian, around 6% of its workforce is now gone. Gopuff, G-O-P-U-F-F is what, Gopuff, and I've never heard of that one, 10% of its staff. Let's see, what are some other companies that Remax, 17% of its workforce. Why? Because the real estate market is on a dive downward. Microsoft, less than 1% of its employees, but that number should probably go up in just a few more days. JP Morgan, over 1,000 employees. Gosh, this list goes on. Compass, real estate group, 450 employees. Why? Because the real estate market is in a recession. Let's look at some more companies here. Redfin, another real estate company, about 6% of total employees. Why? Because the real estate market is in a recession. I'm going to say that a lot, so get used to that. Coinbase, about 18% of its workforce is now gone. Carvana, about 2,500 people. By the way, I've been looking at new cars, right? I went on to Carvana. If you look at cars that are 2017, 18, they are expensive. Not only that, but they have like 140,000 miles on it. People are, these cars that have so much mileage on it are selling for too high a price. But that number is starting to come down. Because why? And I'm going to talk about it in just a little bit. Well, let's talk about it right now. Why? Because bank repos are running at about 8,000 per day. 8,000 cars are being repoed a day. And so the banks are in trouble at the moment because people, when you went out on this pandemic and you got all of that stimulus money, you got all that unemployment money, you guys went out and bought new cars that you couldn't afford in a recession. So we've got about 8,000 cars being repossessed every single day. The banks are in trouble because when those cars that they've repossessed are going into auction, no one is bidding. I don't know if you've ever been to an auction. What happens is that you're in this building and there are people on the phone bidding and there are people in the audience bidding. But what's happening is that those cars are coming onto the stage, because that's what happens. They drive these cars up onto a stage, people bid on them, then they drive them off. No one's bidding on those cars. Why? Because they're too expensive. These car prices have been overblown. And now we have interest rates on cars that have gone up. So we've got repossession. So these banks are in trouble because now they've sold this $20,000 car. They might be able to sell it at auction for $15,000, so they've lost money there. So these cars are not being bid on. They're not being sold at auction. And so they're going right back into inventory of the bank. At some point in time, they're going to have to get rid of those cars, and those numbers are going to come way, way down. So I stopped looking because now that I know this information, and I know that those numbers are going to come down, that's when I'll buy. But the problem is interest rate is still high on cars. So we have a problem right there in the banking industry that no one wants to talk about, and no one wants to admit, oh, we have a problem in the economy, and yeah, people are losing their cars. People are also going into repossession at the moment on their homes. Two economic indicators that we are in a recession. When the real estate market goes into a recession, that usually takes everybody else into a recession, and we're in trouble. Let's go on with I kind of digressed there, and I apologize for that, but I wanted to get it out. I was shocked when I saw 8,000 cars a day were being repossessed. I mean, my gosh, you guys, why did you... And I also read that some people took out loans on their cars, and they're paying $1,000 a month on a car. During the pandemic, some people lost their brains at the same time. Thank God. Okay, let's go through some of these numbers again of companies that are laying off. Reef, about 750 people have been laid off. Better, about 4,000 people have been laid off. Noom, 495 people have been laid off. Thrasio, up to 20% of the staff have been gone. They're out there trying to figure out how they're going to pay for the car payments. Wells Fargo, unknown number of people in mortgage lending, but they've gotten rid of the majority of their staff in their mortgage lending, which is really, really sad. Walmart has laid off thousands of people, which are the biggest employer in the United States. Canopy, they had a growth though. Oh, no, Canopy Growth, I'm sorry. Canopy Growth is the name of the company. 250 people are gone. Food 52, 20 people are gone. Cameo, 87 people are gone. PayPal, 83 people are gone. And these numbers are going to grow, okay? Because they've got to start cutting back because number one expense on a balance sheet and income statement, wages, salaries and wages and taxes. Gorillas, nearly 300 people are gone. Netflix, 150 people are gone. They're going to go fast. There's going to be more people there that's going to go. Let's see, who else? Well, let's just stop there because the number keeps going on. We have a layoff going on in America, and Biden doesn't want to talk about that. The Democrats don't want to talk about that. Even the Republicans are not talking about that. I'm sorry, but if you've got politicians out there who are unwilling to talk about the economy, what's happening in the economy, what's happening to you and me, the American people, if they're unwilling to talk about that, why are they even in office? Because they're certainly not going to do anything for us. What we really need to see in this economy which would be a boom to the economy, because then people knew that the government really does care, and that is they have got to cut their costs and spending, and they've got to cut taxes. They've got to do it. That's the only way that the American people can see that the government is serious about the economy and serious about Americans. But they're not going to do it because they want to push a political agenda. They think that abortion's more important. They think that, oh my gosh, I'm getting a headache, people. I'm getting a headache. Wait a second, I got cocoa. Just a second. I'm ready to go again. Listen, we have a problem. America's in trouble. And our economy's in bigger trouble. And the government and Wall Street are not talking about it, although they're kind of displaying it with so many losses on Wall Street over the last few days. We have a problem. And the politicians are just going to push their own personal political agendas, their climate change, their abortion agenda, and whatever else, in their electronic vehicle agenda. No American can afford an electronic vehicle at $75,000. Are we nuts? We can barely afford to pay our electric bills. By the way, gas prices is on its way up. It's been going up for the last 5 days, now 6 days. We're in trouble. We are going to see gas prices go up. We're going to see natural gas prices go up. We are going to see diesel go up. And all of that has to do with inflation. Because when those things go up, so does our food costs, so does our services and goods. Everything goes up. Our medication goes up because all of that has to be transported some way. But yet, Biden will stand there and say, by the way, he said that gas prices have gone down below $2.99. No, nowhere in the United States has it gone down $2.99. I saw $2.99 for the first time yesterday as I was driving to get stuff. That was the first time I've ever seen it at $2.99. And now it's going back up. So big freaking deal. So we have a problem. We are going to be hit with some higher energy costs to heat our homes for this winter. And by the way, it's already cold here in South Carolina. I haven't had to turn on the heat yet, but it's going to come. We'll have one more week until October, November, December, and then the end of the year. So we have layoffs, we have higher gas prices, we have higher energy prices, we have higher food costs. And yet the government doesn't want to do anything about it except talk about abortion and electronic vehicles and all this other nonsense. Guys, really take a look at who you're voting for in this 2022 election. If they're not talking about the economy, don't vote for them. If they're going to push bad job numbers to you and you know that there's so many layoffs going on, don't vote for them. We need better people. We need people that understand the economy, understand what needs to be done for this nation. Because if we don't have a good economy, then we don't have good health care, and we don't have all this other stuff that we need to make us better. So we have a problem. Everybody go out and have a great day. If you want more access to me, go to www.lodge-co.com. Again, that's lodge-co.com. Everybody have a great day. Have faith. We're going to get through this. You and I, we're going to get through this. We're going to talk about it every day. We're going to educate ourselves every day. Tomorrow we're going to talk about planning and budgeting and everything else. Yeah, we're going to talk about it again. Sorry about that, people. But we're going to do it. This is Mike Lodge, the Business Advisor. Bye-bye.